Hello friends, I'm Andrei from Ruski Airsoft Workshop. It has been 2 years since my last video on YouTube, so I have finally decided and finally found time to make a new one for you. This will be about a special project I have built lately for my good friend Bram, and also for me it will be a video to start to warm up a little bit, to get back to the shooting table, to the studio, to make more videos for you guys. So as I said, 2 years, and in those 2 years there were a lot of new products on the market. To name a few from my partners, for example, LCTairsoft has brought this RPK16 LMG on the market. Very good, very nice replica, very easy to work on. It's based on the same version 3 gearbox, so all the updates you do for your version 3 AKs, version 3 gearbox, of course, of your AKs are possible to put it here, like Titan and all kind of stuff. Also, LCT has brought the full line of Zenitco Classic series accessories for your AKs on the market. Very good quality. It's probably the best replicas I have seen in the market. And also they have 4 models from those series. For example, this is Z series, as they call it, AK104. They also have AK74 with the folding stock, AKSU74, and PP1901 VTs. Another news from Gate Electronics, for example, they are working on the new products. They brought Aster for version 3 gearboxes. I have heard a lot of different good and bad words about it. Mostly those have a trigger problem with standard triggers, for example, for version 3 gearboxes. So the version 3, the Aster for version 3 gearboxes, they have announced already a couple of weeks ago. So that will have still the same trigger and selector detection parts, but it will use a new way to detect your sector gear. So it will be compatible now with high torque gears that have a non-extending, non-extruding sector. So the gears where you use half these pistons. Zenitco itself has brought also a new line, or I would say 2 lines of products, the U line and the L line. So there is a small difference in the number of the mounting slides for the rails, I would say. The L line is slim and has 3, as they call it, basis rails to mount your accessories here, so rail parts, additional rails and stuff. And the U line has normally the normal rail underneath, normal Picatinny rail underneath the handguards. As you can already guess, I will tell you today about this project Bramzilla. Very nice and fun. It has started in its original life as LCT104 with a folding stock model with just some basic internal upgrades. Then the first reincarnation was built with the full classic line front set from Zenitco, B30 and B31S upper, with necessary modifications to the AK itself. And now in his second reincarnation, Bramzilla in this state is built on the Sport-1 set of Zenitco. So B10L hand grip, B31L upper part, and DL1 extension part here. Also it has different parts, for example this railed top cover, a replica of the RP1 charging handle, and this Bulgarian DTK, or as LCT calls it, 4 parts DTK. Also it has the Sistema PTV stock tube adapter, stock tube, my apologies. And it has also the made in Russia, made by DICE folding stock to M4 tube adapter here fitted. And yeah, to mention, to finish the part list of this build is the PTS US Palm 4AK for Airsoft AK grip. So let me move to my workbench and show you all the details and the modifications I did and I had to do, and I actually kind of forced to do on this AK. Let's go. So let's start with the gearbox. The gearbox is an old version, the first version of LCT gearboxes for AK. You can see it on the bushings, 6mm bushings used here. Almost everything is inside the gearbox is standard, except the Big Dragon M140 high torque motor, retro arms, 15 T's piston, FPS soft air cylinder, type D to match the barrel volume, and the Gate Electronics Titan basic version with prolonged wiring, so the wire are actually to be used with the battery put inside the M4 stock tube. I did solder the 3mm banana connectors, so I can disconnect the wires to easily assemble the AK, so to easily put the gearbox inside the body. Now let's switch over to the body. On the body I didn't change almost anything except this piece of rear trunnion. So here you have a corner of the brace, so I had to remove some metal from the brace to allow the wiring go through this place between the body and the gearbox backwards towards the stock tube adapter, which is this one, made in Russia by DICE, full steel CNC, pretty heavy, and also needed to be fitted in place. Directly a remark, it doesn't meant to be folded in normal operations, so the adapter itself is the foldable type. You can easily install it and fold, but because of some technical implementations, because of the gearbox and the wiring that goes through here to the rear, to the stock tube, it will be difficult to use the folding properties of the adapter. Otherwise I will need to remove some metal from here, and I don't want to cut here out, so it will always remain closed. What I modified on the adapter itself is actually I bored the hole here, so the wire can go through. I had to remove some metal on this part so it can lock, because normally it comes with a bit excess of metal and it doesn't fit between the locking pin here and the body. So now it locks, it goes open when there is no gearbox, but once again with the gearbox inside it will not go open completely unless I cut more metal of it. Let me install the gearbox inside. Can be a bit tricky, but it goes. Align all the parts fine, and now comes the trickiest part, which actually would be easier if I remove the motor.
A few moments later.
I've removed the motor with the motor cage. Let me put the gearbox inside. So the battery wire will go like this next to the gearbox, between the body and the gearbox. And let me put it all together. The wires are going through. The motor wires, don't pinch them. Beware with your selector assembly here. So all inside. The wires are free here also, no problem. And now let me install the selector lever, so the gearbox will be held in place by it, and it will be easier to continue the assembly. Tight enough. The wires are still good. The selector is working and moving correctly. So that's what I meant when I say the adapter will not open completely unless I remove some metal. So you probably can see here the part that goes here, the part that goes this here, actually that should go along the gearbox. It's blocked by the wire. Not a big deal, as it's a short version of AK, more or less. The stock will remain open, unfolded all the time. Connect the wires back. I can install the stock tube. This is PTV, Sistema PTV stock tube that goes more or less okay inside the adapter. I will align it later, so for now it's just for you to show the idea. So the stock tube, the battery that goes here, the connectors goes on. So here I will slide the stock, or the owner will slide on the stock, and okay, this will be pretty safe. Now I can put the motor. Quickly I will probably, well, I will connect it anyway, because I need to install the pistol grip. What I did also modify, I expanded here this the groove, the opening, the cutout for the wires, because the alpha wire is a bit too thick to fit in the original opening. So now the wire will be hidden and will not obstruct the pistol grip to slide on. This is a replica of PTS Palm for AK. Fits more or less straight on. I had to cut the bolt a little bit because it was too long. Now it's solid, steady. And let me connect the battery and check if everything works as it should. Just a quick check. .11 LiPo battery, semi, full auto. Almost perfect. So now let me put it a bit aside, but still in view. The inner barrel assembly and the hop-up. So inner barrel is Prometheus 363 mm, 6.3 mm diameter stainless steel Provin hop-up unit, CNC hop-up unit. The arms are standard LCT with a little bit shimmed to lessen the wobble in this direction. And inside there is a maple leaf 60-degree bucking and omega knob. Slides on. Goes pretty well. The hop-up and the gearbox are matching good. Let me directly put the bolt here to connect and fix the hop-up to the gearbox. And let's proceed with the external, the outer barrel. So basically all standards except the one thing I had to modify to cut some metal here from, because the original first reincarnation B31 upper part didn't fit, was obstructed here by the metal housing of the front side. All the rest is standard. The internals are the internal works, and all are pretty standard, not much changed. I just maybe need to play a bit here with the second one. I need to use some help of my screwdriver because the bracket itself is a bit too wide, so I have to push it a bit so I can put the bolt through it. All right, and now probably the most expected part, the installing of the real steel Zenitco Sport series handguards. So this is the B10L, the sport line version, very lightweight, and I had to modify it a bit here in the backwards. I had to remove some metal from the sides to fit it in the body, and also here it was a lot of metal above, so I had to remove it also to fit in the opening of the LCT here. In front I have put some padding because the lengths of the real steel and the lengths between the front side retainer and the body on LCT are about 1 millimeter off spec. So it fits more or less. I need to slap it with the hammer probably so it goes completely inside. Not too much. I didn't fit it yet, so this is the first time I put it on. I probably will need some hammer time here also. And it is locked in place. As you can see, it's pretty sturdy, doesn't move anything, and this is what I told you, this 1 millimeter off spec between the lengths of the real steel Zenitco and the place of retainer in the LCT body. so it fits pretty okay, and it will be oversprayed anyway, so this the bare aluminum will not be in the view anymore. Okay, now we have to install the gas tube first. Fixed, then the top part. I know it might look a bit strange, but you install the top part first and then the front part here. So I didn't have to modify anything to fit, so this fits perfectly, because on the previous reincarnation with the classic series of the handguards, the front set, I had to modify the upper part inside of the upper part of the B31 rail. So as you can see here up front, it is good that I have removed some metal here, because otherwise it will be also obstructed the B31L part. Now the lower parts, you have to put it the correct way. Okay, it is a correct way, because you see the markings are the same direction as the B10 part. So this part is calling DL1. It's the extender, or yeah, how to call it, extender piece, extension piece. It's also screwed like this to the upper part, to the B31 part. And it's done. So this is the front set, the B10L, B31L and DL1. All it forms the sport front set version. Also the muzzle device that will be used is LCT 4 pieces, a replica of Bulgarian DTK. I will not screw it completely, but this will go like this. And also, almost forgot, with the original Zenitco you get this part, these two screws. Actually it is a connector here, so if you find that these parts are wobbly or you don't trust it, you can just do an extra connection like this. You remove the original screws, put the link over here, and you use the screws that are delivered with the link, because they are a bit longer. So now the B10 and the DL1 parts are connected by two links, the upper part, the B31L, and the link. I had a question on the Instagram about, are there rails available to put on here? Yes, there are different rails, and if you take a look on Zenitco website or on Ivan Tactical website, you will find different lengths of rails that are meant for the Basis series and the Sport series. So for the L, you need to see the rails for the L series for this specific front set. Another question: how do you put and keep the mag spacer in the mag well. So you just click it inside, it will stay there because of this side parts. So it's safe, it will not fall out of there. What do I have rest? So the top cover and the bolt, fake bolt assembly thing. This is LCTairsoft knob, but it looks like I got the first version of it. Let me show why do I think that. Because when it was delivered and I was trying to fit it on the AK, it didn't fit. So I had to shave quite a lot from both parts. So now it fits more or less as it should. So basically how it should work from the box, and I'm pretty sure it works on the next generations, because this one was from, yeah, as I said, from the very first delivery. And I have the RP2 for Vitis, for PP1901 in stock, and they are already correct and just slide on. So basically when you get this one, you just have to slide it on the bolt cover, on the charge. Basically you slide it on the charging handle, not the bolt cover, and then you just screw these two screws so it can, then it expands this the two halves in the well, in the outer shell, and it is pretty fast here. To put it back on the gun, it's pretty standard. This is again the old version of LCT bolt carrier, the assembly cover, not sure how to correctly name it. Standard small tiny inbus. Check if it is moving freely. It does. And now I have the last piece, the top cover. This is the LCT railed top cover. The part number I will put on the screen in text. It goes on the place of the rear side, and you have a pin to put it through. I will not hammer it down completely because I will be removing it. I'm not sure yet, but normally this is finished. The only thing about this top cover, it does not go completely open. Just enough. If you use a battery, you can slide the battery here and close it. But as I said, for this build, the battery will go in the stock tube. So the top cover will probably never be opened unless the gun will be disassembled for maintenance. So this is it. This is how it looks now when finished. I'm not sure which stock the owner will put on it. So I just showed it to you in the beginning of the video with my own Strike Industries Viper stock. One more or maybe two more things. So the muzzle device itself comes with the muzzle device itself comes already with the 24 counterclockwise to 24 clockwise to 14 counterclockwise adapter. So you can, this muzzle device you can use on different models of AK, because some are delivered with 14 CCW, some are delivered with 24 CW, clockwise, counterclockwise. And also one more thing for this AK, the DTK4 Nomad, or in Russian Kachevnik silencer, 24 clockwise. And this particular version is actually with the tracer unit installed, the Airsoft tracer unit. So for night games, this will be the setup. This will be it for today about this build, this project. I will do some shooting tests, FPS tests, to see if it performs how it should, if necessary fine tune a little bit. And also you may wondering why there is no stock, because Bram will install his own stock, which I don't have it here. Alright guys, thanks for watching this. If you have any questions, you just don't hesitate to shoot me a message on YouTube or on Facebook or Instagram. Subscribe to YouTube channel, give me the like. To me it means a lot as appreciation. Follow my Instagram, follow my Facebook, and see you later.